China's President Xi has told a state banquet in Beijing, held in honour of US President Trump on the first full day of his visit, that the two countries should be partners, not rivals, and that the relationship was the most important in the world. The White House said discussions between the two leaders had focused on economic ties and the war in Iran. Laura Bicker reports from Beijing.
With a tight grip and the odd hand tap, these two leaders turned an ordinary greeting into a global power statement. The carefully choreographed honour guard, designed to project strength, a reminder of President Xi's power and control. The stagecraft was meticulous, a diplomatic show to flatter the US president, and he revelled in it. Away from the red carpet, there was work to do.
The two countries should be partners rather than rivals, helping each other succeed and prosper together.
We're going to have a fantastic future together. Such respect for China, the job you've done. You're a great leader. I say it to everybody, you're a great leader.
The talks lasted longer than expected, but there was still time to tour the 15th century Temple of Heaven.
How were your talks, sir?
It's great.
Did you talk about Taiwan?
Great place. Incredible. China's beautiful.
An unusually quiet Donald Trump in front of the cameras.
Did you talk about Taiwan, Mr. President?
Donald Trump built his political brand on being tough on China. Today, he lavished praise on his host. He was forced to U-turn on tariffs, and now he's embroiled in a war in the Middle East. This volatile second term allows President Xi to reposition China, not as a nation trying to catch up with the West, but as a superpower ready to surpass it. The pair have discussed the war in Iran, potential trade deals and Taiwan, with no clear outcome other than a reciprocal invitation.
Tonight it is my honor to extend an invitation to you and Madam Peng to visit us at the White House.
Today has been filled with warm words and pageantry, but very little policy. Laura Bicker, BBC News, Beijing.
And let's talk to Sarah Smith at the White House tonight. Sarah, what did you make of an unusually quiet Donald Trump in front of the journalists there?
Yeah, isn't that something we almost never see, isn't it? Donald Trump biting his tongue while journalists are trying to ask him questions. But he didn't dare say anything about Taiwan, which is what he was being asked about, because President Xi had already warned that any change in America's position over Taiwan could lead to collision or even conflict between the US and America. And that just shows you, doesn't it, that how different the dynamic is on this trip than other times Donald Trump has visited world leaders. He can't bully and dominate President Xi. In fact, he looks quite deferential almost. And he has pretty modest ambitions for this trip. I mean, he'd like to come back with a bunch of trade and economic deals, and he would call that a success. But looming over the whole thing, of course, is the war in Iran. China could help with that. They're very, very close allies with Tehran. And they did talk about it, but it's fascinating, I think, to compare the readouts we got from the two different governments after that face-to-face meeting. The American version said that the two leaders had talked about the need to keep the Strait of Hormuz open and that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. And the Chinese version simply said that they had discussed the situation in the Middle East, no more than that. And that speaks volumes, I think, about the dynamic between these two leaders on this visit.